And for many, a job in retail is their first taste of working life. But new research has revealed the industry's dark side. It turns out that many stores aren't a safe space for the people who run them.
It's the hidden cost of Australia's favourite pastime, shopping. New research has uncovered that Aussie retail workers are the victims of a pervasive culture of sexual harassment.
It comes with the job now. You just expect it to happen because it happens so often.
In the past 5 years, half of women and a quarter of men working in retail have been subjected to sexual harassment at work.
Retail workers have the right to feel safe when they go to work.
Proving the customer is not always right. Shoppers make up more than a third of perpetrators, more than 80% of them men.
I find a lot of the male customers tend to go after younger female retail workers because of the societal expectations and professional expectations that, oh, if I say something to her, she can't do anything. She just has to smile and take it.
The most common forms of shopper harassment include suggestive comments, questions about a worker's appearance, and even leering at employees while they do their job.
The eye contact you get from certain people, their body language, the way they're looking at you is in a sexual sort of way.
The retail industry today promising to provide employees more protection.
Clearly not good enough. We are the third largest employer of women, the second largest employer of young people, but we're also customer facing. We're highly motivated as an industry to make change.
Meanwhile, workers are demanding employers better protect vulnerable young employees.
As someone who has experienced sexual harassment in the workplace, it's so important for me that no one else is in the position where I was at 17, that I didn't feel like I could tell anyone and that it would just be fobbed off.
Well, Rae Cooper wrote this report and has become an expert in the harassment retail workers are facing. Rae, just how bad is it out there?
It's not a very nice story. The title of this report is Just Another Day in Retail, and that's a direct quote from one of the young women who was in one of our focus groups. And that sort of reflects the tone of a lot of the research participants' views that they expressed to us, that basically this has become a normalised every week part of the job.
Rae, what sort of things can employers do to keep their employees safe? What sort of steps would you like to see them take?
Yeah, great question. So I think there's a lot they need to be doing. One thing that we're picking up is that very few people actually formally report when there's an incident of sexual harassment. So it's only about 1 in 5 people who make a formal complaint when they are harassed at work. So we can't rely on the data that we collect from reporting. We need to go broader than that. So I think employers in retail really need to start to look at the way that they're collecting data from employees about what's really going on in their stores. But there's also one other thing which relates to training. So employees need to be trained, team leaders need to be trained, more senior leaders need to be trained. And at the moment, the way it seems to be operating is that there is training at the commencement of employment. And often, all of us have done one of those online training modules. A lot of the employees that we talked to said that it felt a bit like a tick and flick exercise where it was online and often dealt with quite obtusely. So I don't know if you all remember the milkshake ads.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of employees talk to us about sexual harassment being dealt with in a really obtuse way like that in the trainings.
Professor, what piece of advice do you have for all retail workers? I mean, I was 14 and 9 months when I started working in retail, and I think I'm a very different person now to what I was then. But if you are being harassed, what advice do you have, one piece of advice for young people, anyone working in retail?
I think the first thing I'd say is that your first job should be really good. It's your first experience stepping into the labour market, getting a bit of independence, getting some money together. So behaviour that makes you feel bad is not okay and it's not your fault. So see what you can do to work out what the policy of your company is, if there's a problem. Speak to someone immediately if you've got some bad behaviour going on and then take some advice.
Rae, I understand that your children actually work in the retail space. Are you worried about them?
So my kids both have worked in retail and hospo. I've got to say, listening to the focus groups with people about the same age as my kids did make me worry a bit. But I also worry, I teach young people at the university every day. They're the cohort that are being profoundly affected here, so I'm very worried about it. I tell you what else I'm really worried about is, between retail and hospitality, they are the industries that really are the first jobs that people walk into, and I really worry about the expectations that this is setting up for young people about what they should put up with at work, and what respect looks like or what decent treatment looks like at work. So I'm worried about young people who I know in my family and the young people who I teach and interact with all the time.
It's huge. Professor Cooper, thanks for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for covering it.